It doesn't take much to turn a simple play into a great one. In fact, it can often be done single-handedly.
Vance McDonald, and he keeps his footing. Can he get there? 75-yard touchdown.
Are you kidding me?
Vance McDonald's run over safety Chris Conte not only became one of the best plays of the season, but an internet sensation. All courtesy of a single, seemingly simple football tactic.
If you get caught with a stiff arm, it's probably one of the most embarrassing things that can happen to you. It's essentially when a running back run the ball, sees somebody in his way, and he just pushes them out the way.
Well, that's one way to put it. But depending on who you ask, there's slightly more to the stiff arm than meets the eye.
A stiff arm is just another tool in the bag that you can use to shed a tackle.
You know, the stiff arm is just another way to extend a run.
It's a lost art. It's a lost art. But when you see it, it's just, you love it. It brings an element of like, oh man, there's something just very poetic about it.
It's not always gruesome. A stiff arm can be very tactful with a little tap. It doesn't always have to be full-blown trying to knock a player over, which often that's what people on the outside would think.
There's like the late stiff arm, right? There's like the stiff arm where he's running hard as he can, you're closing the space between the two, and then at the last minute, he gives you a quick bam, right to the face mask, and it stuns you. The other stiff arm is the guy who telegraphs it, so now you have all day to swipe it, make the tackle, it's all good.
You ain't stiff arm nobody, you got knocked out.
I tried getting him off of me.
Well, first of all, as a defender, it's illegal. It should be illegal because they can touch our face mask pretty much as an open punch.
You just take the palm of your hand and you try to break the other guy's nose.
And then if you mistakenly reach out and grab their face mask, they get an additional 15 yards. I think it's one of the most unfair penalties in the game.
I hate that. That defensively, you can't touch their face mask, but they can stiff arm you in your face. I hate that, boy.
It's a move as old as the game itself.
The ball carrier comes to within a yard or so of the tackler and uses his right hand in a straight arm.
And throughout the years, the stiff arm became a staple for some of the game's greats.
There have been running backs over time that have been able to perfect it. I think LaDainian Tomlinson is one.
I mean, Earl Campbell just buried some people with the stiff arm.
Jamal Anderson, who played for the Atlanta Falcons, had a great stiff arm.
Watching Emmitt Smith taught me how to use the stiff arm in a different way. So what he would do, when he saw someone coming to tackle him, he would grab their upfield arm and just push it down. So he wouldn't try to, like, devastating stiff arm, which are cool and they look amazing. That was the stiff arm for me, the tactical one, not the devastating one. I wasn't strong enough to do that.
I said the greatest one I've ever seen was Walter Payton.
Walter Payton.
The standard was Walter Payton. I'd imagine there was a generation of guys that came after him that were inspired by him, and I'm in that generation.
Today's current generation of players has a few stiff arm artists of its own.
Todd Gurley had a pretty good one. Yeah, he got me one time.
30 running left, 35-40. Gurley a stiff arm midfield and out of bounds.
Todd Gurley is one of the best backs in this league, whether he can go over you, around you, and the stiff arm is something that he's implemented into his game.
Check out the stiff arm. It doesn't matter who it is, linebacker, defensive lineman, whatever. When he sticks that big paw out there, you are in trouble.
Melvin Gordon, he had a nasty stiff arm last year in the Giants game.
Vicious stiff arm. Melvin Gordon on Janoris Jenkins. Put him on his back.
I would say Leonard Fournette. Ezekiel Elliott's got a mean stiff arm as well.
There's a lot of people got a stiff arm.
Jamal Williams.
Buccaneers. Yeah, I had
nice.
two. One off overrun
and
then another one. But I used both the hands though. So I got two.
Of course, being on the wrong end of one can seem embarrassing. But don't think that NFL defenders are the only ones susceptible to some straight arm shame. Just ask Napoleon himself, whose invasion of Russia in 1812 quickly turned into retreat.
Stiffed on that fool? Ew!
That resistance inspired Tchaikovsky's famous 1812 overture, proof that a stiff arm can indeed be art, and when played just right, provide any play with a grand finale.